So welcome to today's Conversion Express tutorial, where in 15 minutes or less, you are going to get a strategy to help you get more leads from your website that is going to be simple, doable, and bite-sized. Going to be amazing. Okay, so if I can get this working, here we go. This is the topic today. And before you go, oh, value propositions are so boring. They're actually super incredibly important, and I'm going to tell you why. So this tutorial is all about how to get clarity on your value proposition so that you can land more leads. So the value proposition, I want you to understand this. This is a very important distinction that can help you stop competing on price. Value propositions answer this question that is going on every single person's mind who is considering one thing over another, one service over another, a product over another. Doesn't matter what it is. They're thinking, why should I choose you over someone else? And when you're clear on your value proposition, that can be the tipping point. So you're no longer competing on price. If you can add additional value that your potential clients might find super awesome. So I want to make sure we're all on the same page as to what a value proposition is. So it's basically, as we can read, an innovation, a service, or a feature that is intended to make a company or product be attractive to customers, right? And then once you've determined what that is, it can be summarized in a marketing statement that explains why a customer should buy a product or use a service over your competitors. Incredibly important. So it includes three things, probably more, but we're going to talk about three things. The core problem that your service solves, the benefits of using it, and why it's the best choice over others. Okay, so I want to give you a really important hint there. If you are trying to figure out what's my value proposition, sometimes when you have identified a common customer complaint in your industry, that can actually really be incredibly helpful in understanding what your value propositions are or could be. And I'm going to show you with some examples here of what I mean. So we're going to use a case study between Uber and taxis. So taxis versus Ubers, and it's just the pros and cons. Now, mind you, there are still pros to using taxis, but for the purposes and cons to using Uber. But for the purposes of this, I wanted to make a distinction between some things that are problematic with taxis that Uber solved and why that helped them to not only understand and craft their value proposition, but really have an incredibly global, very popular, very revenue generating kind of company, okay, business. So taxis, we know that when you do not know how much it's going to cost you until you get to the end of the trip, which can be really problematic for many different reasons. You have the inconvenience of trying to hail a cab or trying to call a cab to get someone to pick you up. You have to have a cash or card on you. They only usually have a local presence, which means that if you tend to do a lot of traveling, you got to figure out, well, who are the taxis in this particular area where I can get a ride from. And you take a chance on the driver you get. You have no idea who's coming to pick you up, how good they are at driving, if they're friendly, if they're not, are they honest, are they going to jip me off, things like that. Whereas with Uber, you get an estimated fare that is provided to you before you book. So that's really great. It's like, well, okay, I know how much this is probably going to cost me. You can book a ride through your phone. It's a cashless payment that's done through an app. They have a global presence and a rating system, so you get to choose your driver. So it gives back a lot of power to the rider, to the passenger, to make a decision as to who they're going to go with. Whereas with taxis, you don't get that, right? So here is Uber's value proposition. The smartest way to get around, one tap and a car comes directly to you. Your driver knows exactly where to go and payment is completely cashless. So their value proposition addresses common customer complaints that they have with what used to exist only previously, which was taxis. They took those complaints and they figured out a way to address them so it's easier for people to get around and made a really great business out of it. So we're going to put this into our kind of service-based business, home service industry, whatever it may be, but it's a service-based business. And we're going to pretend we're a roofing company and we're called the Shingle Life, okay? And these are common complaints that we know and concerns that people have with roofing companies. We want to know as a roofing company what those common complaints are so we can make ourselves stand out more, deliver great value, and come up with a fantastic value proposition. So common complaints, poor workmanship, right? Takes longer than it's promised. You probably are listening to these and kind of nodding your head going, yeah, this is familiar to me. Unexpected cost comes up. Poor communication happening as to when they're going to show up, when it's going to be done, and whatever, right? Just poor communication in general. Property damage happens, unprofessional behavior to the people that might be working on your roof. And then there's issues after the service is completed. There's probably, I know that there's more than what's listed here. But the point is, knowing what these common complaints are, we can then select 3 in this case. We're going to select 3 common complaints, and we're going to address them in our value proposition and as part of how we do business, as part of how we do the job, so that we have a better chance of getting people choosing us. So, with regards to issues after the service is completed, how about if we say we'll come back and service any issues for free within 1 year of the work being completed? Okay, that helps to relieve some, as a potential customer, that helps relieve some of my concerns. It takes longer than promised. Well, what about if we said you're going to get 5% off the price for each day we're over the promised deadline? Oh, okay, now they're putting some skin in the game here. And as a potential client, I'm feeling like, oh, okay, so they're probably going to really try and stick to the deadline they give me. Okay, what about property damage? We tell them we're going to cover up all your windows and your exterior belongings. We'll also run a magnet roller over the property because we know there's going to be a lot of nails and things like that that are going to end up falling on the ground. We want to make sure we pick them all up. So not only is there not going to be property damage, but nobody can get injured. And we're going to use a magnetic roller. We're going to go over your property with this magnetic roller, and it's going to pick up all of these nails. Okay, so we have now come up with a value proposition. We've got some stuff we can actually give to clients addressing their common concerns and complaints. Let's see how we're going to make this happen. So there are 3 ways you can apply your value propositions to your website. So you've come up with your 3 value propositions. You know what they are. You've got it written. It's an internal document you have in your business. But now, how are you going to show clients externally on your website your value propositions? Well, I'm going to give you 3 ways you can do this. Okay. So first of all, you can add them as a value stack below the hero sections on certain pages. So like your home page, for example, your about page, and your service pages. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about because I know that I'm using a term, value stack, that you may not at all be familiar with what I'm talking about. So I'm going to show you what it is. This is a value stack. So I just grabbed a roofing screenshot here of a roofer. And we took those, remember, we came up with 3 value propositions or 3 things we're going to do to differentiate ourselves from other roofing companies based on people's common complaints with roofing companies. And this is how we're going to apply them. This is a value stack right here at the bottom. So it is just below this is a hero section. It's the first page that people are going to see, the first screen that they're going to see when they land on one of your pages. And we're going to tell them, we guarantee our work or we service your issues for free. Ooh, that sounds good, right? Guaranteed to be done on time or you pay less. Oh, that's intriguing, right? And then your windows and outdoor belongings are protected. Okay, great. I probably could also move this to the middle and put the 2 awesome ones on either end. That would probably be better. But I wanted to show you here that this is a value stack. This is where you would place a value stack on your home page, on your about page, on your service pages, and place it so people, it's in that first hero section so people see this, because not everybody is going to continue scrolling down the page. They're just going to make it this far. 100% of people will see this hero section but not everybody is going to see what comes below it. So we want to make sure we give the best information right away. Now, here's another place where you can put your value stacks or put your value propositions. So this is, you can use it to craft a guarantee. And again, you can add this guarantee to your home page, your about page, and your service pages like this. We guarantee. So we just took one of them, right? We had 3 value propositions we could work with. We pick one of them and we say, we guarantee your roof will be done on time, or you get 5% off each day past the due date. You could add like a little guarantee icon here, whatever. But the point is, you're going to plaster this across one of your web pages. You're going to have it close to the top. And it would be great to have this around a call to action button so that you're reminding them, ooh, you're going to, we guarantee this thing. Click that button now, right? So that's another way that you can use it. And the third way is you can get into more detail about your value propositions in an FAQ section like this. So let's say you have an FAQ section and people are going to ask, what happens if I have an issue with my roof after the work has been completed? You can answer this question and tell them exactly what's going to happen based on your value proposition, right? Within a year, you're going to come and you're going to, you can fix any issues without any charge to them. How long will it take to get my roof done? You can remind them here and expand on the fact they're going to get a due date and when it's going to be done. You promise it to be completed by this day. And if you negate on that promise, each day after, they're going to save 5% off their bill. What do you do to protect my windows and doors? People we know are concerned about property damage. So you're going to tell them, we're going to cover your windows and your doors, and we're going to have the magnetic roller over it, things like that. What do I need to do to prepare to get my roof done? Well, you can get into that too. That's another opportunity for you to talk about how you're going to protect their property and how you're going to take care of it and all this stuff. You can also tell them what they need to do to prepare, but you can also get into how you're going to prepare to do the work for them. I'm going to stop my share here because I want to tell you that now that you know how to use value propositions, the importance of doing them so you're not competing on price, and how to apply them to your website. If you click here, you can find out more about how to get more clicks on your buttons because you've got those value propositions going on. So why not get more clicks on the buttons since we're enticing people with their value propositions? And I will see you next week.